Hello, Patricia Worby, Alchemy Therapies here. And this is the second video in my series on tinnitus, ear problems, and generally earwax, what it's for, what it does, why it can cause so many problems. And I'm talking here from a personal perspective, not just a theoretical one, because I've just had my ears treated by a clinical audiologist. In my first video, I explained that about 3 days ago, my ears just suddenly seemed to block, or one of them particularly. I became quite profoundly deaf in one ear. This is definitely a wax problem because it didn't creep up. It was just one moment I had reasonable hearing, the next minute I could hardly hear. And the disorientation, the weird sort of feelings of nausea, disconnection, isolation was really profound. Driving was really, really hard because I could only hear on one side and I just felt very disorientated. So I vowed to both treat it naturally, and I've been putting olive oil, sometimes castor oil, camphor oil as well on occasion, gargling with salt water, because that sort of opens up the eustachian tube, which links to the middle ear, and generally boosting my immunity and trying to keep warm, which is another big factor when you're hypothyroid, as I am. Earwax, like any wax, is more moldable when it's warm. So if your body temperature is low, as mine is, it doesn't move as quickly. And earwax is meant to be basically gradually lost, like your skin. It's meant to sort of drop out of your ears from time to time to try and move debris, bacteria out of the ear canal. It's there for a protective purpose. But in people, for some reason, I think definitely linked to hypothyroidism, but there may be other causes. My ears either overproduce or they underclear, and because the wax is a bit harder than it should be, it doesn't tend to move around. So I had this problem for 3 days. Yeah, exactly 3 days. And 3 days, I can tell you, of hell, actually. The nurse was rather sympathetic yesterday when I went to my GP surgery. She booked me in for a syringing next Thursday. And I said, but what about the pain, the feeling of infection in that side of my face? It seemed to be going up into my sinuses. And generally that I can't hear, and my job requires that I hear people. And she just said, paracetamol, we can't get you in any earlier. Last night, thinking about it and asking around friends, colleagues, I mean, I've got lots of support because I'm in the natural health business, obviously, you know, in the field, and lots of people recommending different things. But I was just looking online and I saw available in my area the facility to go and have your earwax removed, not by syringing, but by microsuction, which is a new method that's just coming in. And it's much more accurate and it's much less damaging to the ear canal and less likelihood of perforation of the eardrum. So I am Denard. Obviously, I'm very pro the NHS. I thoroughly support the people who work in it. But I also noticed that there are problems with the current NHS model in that getting an appointment at my GP surgery is now 7 to 9 weeks. Getting a nurse appointment is 3 to 5 days. So something's not right here. And they're using systems that are superseded by, you know, much more accurate and much more quicker. I don't think they can be that much more expensive. The little machine that the audiologist used was not, it didn't look massively technical. It consisted of a suction pump and a pair of goggles that have a sort of microscope sort of effect, so he can see in detail what he's doing in the ear, all over in 10 minutes. Yes, I had to pay a sum of money, which is obviously not what I'd like to do. I'd like to get it free on the NHS, which I already pay for through my national insurance. But when you're weighing up functionality and health versus cost, I think health wins, because I was really, really struggling, and I was feeling very, very unhappy and ill, actually. And anyway, this is about an hour after I've had the procedure done, and now I can hear again. It's going to take a while for the inflammation in my ear canal to go down, because I can tell you it feels very sore still. But there's no ringing, there's no tinnitus, there's no pressure. So I would just like to beg really for people to understand that these solutions are out there and that they should be included on the NHS rather than having to go privately. I'm in the very fortunate position of being able to afford to do that, but not everybody would. And to beg also that people and the staff who work in the NHS understand these links, you know, between diet and earwax, between thyroid health and earwax. I tried to tell my practice nurse yesterday it's linked to my hypothyroidism, because I've looked at the research. I've seen it on PubMed. The research is out there. She had never heard that and had no training in that, so didn't realise. So it's this absence of connectivity, I think, that really saddens me. But here I am on the other side. It's going to take me, as I say, a few days probably to heal the throat and the ear, because they're all very sore. Because one thing is not separate from another. They all link, particularly through the sinuses, the back of the throat. The eustachian tube links to the back of the throat. So if you have build-up of earwax, or you're aware that you have hearing issues or tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and you have the choice, do go and see an audiologist, because they are specialists and there will be clinics in your area, some of which are sponsored by your GP surgery, so not all of them charge. Anyway, that's all for today. I will be maybe following up in a few days' time with anything else that I need to tell you about. But signing off, finally, being able to hear is amazing. Thank you. Do look me up. Subscribe to my channel. I'm on alchemytherapies.co.uk. Talk soon. Bye-bye.